You know, I don't see a single thing that could go wrong with that whole situation right there. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch and another day in the life of a Land Rover hoarder. If you're a Land Rover hoarder like myself, I don't know if there's a better way to spend it than with a bunch of other Land Rover owners. And if you haven't caught any of these videos yet, the day in the life of the Land Rover hoarder is just kind of my weekly behind the scenes as to what happens at the Lost Cause Ranch while we're not making LR4 trucks. And today is the start of Roverball 2. If you guys were around last year, you saw Roverball 1, where I attempted to drive a Freelander, yes, a first-gen Freelander, from New York to LA. I was less than successful in getting the Freelander there, and pulled over on the side of the road. That looks like a tad bit more than AC condensation. We were successful in the trip as a whole because of that thing, which is interesting to see. Justin from Lucky 8 also took a Freelander. His made it. Mine didn't. Justin, this year, also bought a familiar NAS Defender 90. I think my choice in vehicle might have been smarter this year. But if you didn't see it last year, we did the original Cannonball route from, or is it route? Route from the Red Ball garage in New York to the Portofino Hotel in California. This year, we're going north to south. We're heading from Green Bay, Wisconsin, which is where we're at, home of the Packers, home of the cheese, down to Texas. We actually have a pretty good group starting out for being in the middle of Wisconsin. I don't know if you see a pattern here. Even that one over there. If you look up there, everyone except for one person brought something with an actual roof. So last year we started off in Times Square in New York. If you ask me, our start this year is a little bit better, mainly because it's a tad less people-y. 11 Land Rovers starting the trip, and I'm sure a few will be picked up along the way as we head south. So we're just about to our first stop, and I haven't even broken anything yet. We're not leaking coolant. We got the massaging seats on. I wonder how Justin is doing in the blue 90. Can't remember last year if it had massaging seats or not. I'll be honest, I am ready to be done with it. So we just made our first stop. We had a little coffee, mid-morning breakfast, and everyone just took off to go get gas. We're gonna split off for a little bit and utilize the 510 horsepower in the Range Rover and speed ahead everyone else at the legal limit, for sure. Just so we can go to the next stop, which I'm kind of familiar with. You guys might be familiar with it as well. I just want to get everything opened up and ready to go. Did you guys just drive that into the shop?
We drove it into the shop, which is different than what you normally do.
I was like, that's not how it works. You need to push.
Carter, take the e-brake off. Everything gets pushed in place. It's Joe's gym. You ready? You gotta take the e-brake off.
Well, then it's not a very good workout without the e-brake off.
Is it on a gear? He's a dick. Come on, help. How does he do this by himself?
See, that works perfect. Just don't fall in the grate.
Oh. We drove by Joe's place of birth. The Menards up there off of 15.
That's where I actually live. Right? Now you know why you use the tire.
But your hands get dirty.
Yeah, my hands do not want to get dirty.
You need...
Yeah, it looks bigger on TV. Yeah.
We have baby wipes for your hands.
Where do you get those?
Menards. So we had everyone stop here at the ranch. Or I guess it's car wash. Ranch is no more, but in typical fashion around here, we brought the rain with us. Why not? All right, that was really fun having everyone here. Hopefully they enjoyed seeing it. That is the first real visitors we've ever had at the car wash. Neat letting people see all my junk. It truly is junk. As they can probably attest, it's worse in person than it is in video, but it's still fun. But either way, we're closed back up. Time to hop back in the Range Rover and catch back up with everyone. You know, there's not a whole lot of things cooler to be behind than an old 110. Bob's a real trooper with that. Came all the way from Virginia up to Green Bay to start. It's a right-hand drive. I believe probably South African import one, being it is a BMW engined 110. Quite possibly the best engine Land Rover ever put in one. At least the best engine that allows you to maintain interstate speeds. It's awesome. And we made it to our hotel here in Des Moines, Iowa. It's actually Clive. It's funny because I have now driven like 11 hours. I've driven 11 hours to make it 3 hours from home. Quite the feat, but no, we got a good little lineup of Rovers sitting here. It's been a good first day. It was fun having everyone at the car wash. I don't get to show off my stuff in person too often because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. And not a lot of people appreciate the Land Rovers right there. So cool having people travel through. Down at the end here, we have the Fast and Furious crew, which is hilarious. But no, this is a fun group. Fun time so far. We just ate. And I think if I were to ever just have a box stock Land Rover 110, it would be this. It's a South African BMW motored station wagon. But we're gonna get up in the morning, head down towards Kansas, I believe. This year, so far, less eventful. Last year, I didn't make it through the first day with the Freelander. We ended up in the Loaner Defender, if you remember correctly, and Justin now has the Loaner Defender, and I believe it's doing just fine. It made it 4,500 miles last year with me. It's gonna do that again this year, albeit a bit more comfortable because he outfitted it with stuff. I didn't. It wasn't mine. Although it doesn't have massaging seats. So we're just about off on day 2. Everyone's fueling up for the first leg of the trip. Oh. Yeah, you're in there. You're having Maverick.
Cooler though.
Yeah. We'll do some effects. Yeah. Yep, you too. You know my least favorite thing about mornings? It's the time of day they occur. On the road again. My Range Rover sounds less cool than that one.
Two smaller mufflers side by
turbo. That was like the high ball. Going out your Honda Civic with the doors
side of the car. Like if you think
it's a pass, right?
Yeah, or right, yeah, or being fucking running your exhaust out the side. Have exhaust going out the side of the car. That way you make people have heart attack. You know, like same with their Supra. The angled besides like the Civic. Like that.
You know, I don't see a single thing that could go wrong with that whole situation right there. This was our little coffee stop in Kansas City, Missouri. Rooftop bar. Get to spy on all the action down below, including a couple guys working on something.
We might have another 22.
Otherwise I got one too. If you.
Win a little harder? not moving. That should help.
Well, this is kind of a neat little town we just rolled into. And Cottonwood somewhere. Yeah. Oh.
Alright guys, this is our lunch spot. I think you can see the courthouse. Let's just pile in and look for spots.
I mean, how much more fitting does it get than that? I'm just so glad it's not me this year.
Internet. Joe's not the only one with problems, but he just has most of them.
Accurate. Ironically, the problems that Justin's are having is probably because of me. Now, this is truly kind of what these trips are about. They're taking you to places that you just wouldn't go otherwise. This isn't a destination trip. This is a journey trip. I love the destination trips. I love making it out to Moab and stuff like that. But the ones where the drive is the main selling point is pretty freaking cool as well. Our destination points day to day aren't the star of the show. It's just getting out and seeing the entire country and doing it with a bunch of good friends.
Get slow up here, not to unsettle them.
But we finally found someone. Just
They're
a
all
bunch
getting out
of
of the way
cows.
for us. That's very kind of them.
No, just a bunch of cows. We're in some open ranch land now. One of the guys just brought up a great point on the radio here. We haven't seen power lines for frickin' miles. We really are in the middle of frickin' nowhere. It's just a bunch of happy cows. What's up, bud? Just made it to Texaco Hill. I now know why it's called that. The flat repair crew made it into town. How appropriate, a bunch of Land Rovers out driving across the country. Where do you got to stop? Makes sense.
What's the depth on that water crossing?
You know, the old Blue Bomber, the D90 we had last year on most of the Roverball was such a blast. I'm glad Justin's taking it this year. Way cool. So many memories of that thing. You could just, you're good. And there ends my leg of Roverball this year. Unfortunately, we got some stuff that popped up, so we can't make the entire trip. But those guys are off down towards Texas now. We are in Wichita, which is actually a pretty cool little town. Cruise around here. We're in Old Town, I believe, in Wichita. We even got to stay across this cool little classic car place. So it's unfortunate that my Roverball isn't going to make it down to Big Bend with those guys. I'm pretty bummed out about that, but I did just give myself a consolation prize on the way back up to Iowa. We're going to stop, check out another Rover for sale because it's just what we need.
And they took the wins at Cornwall Motor Speedway in Canada. Brad Rodden,
Tail kind of wagging the dog there. Well, that's interesting. We just lit the dash up like a Christmas tree. I guess it's good we brought the scan tool with us. I mean, truly, you should never travel too far in a modern Rover without some sort of diagnostic device. We'll get to somewhere where we can pull over and see what we got going on. Going through and scanning everything, and we have a little bit of red going on. So we're in the ABS control module, and we got the same high-speed CAN communication bus fault in the transmission, transfer case. So we're just gonna try and clear that out, but not clearing. Well, some of the stuff's clearing. Got a permanent fault, I don't know why. So it's not clearing out. It's driving all right, we just don't have any functions that have to deal with the ABS or traction control, like cruise or anything like that. But we are about 6 hours into today's journey so far, which means we're just about to get to our little Land Rover purchase. Well, possible purchase. I shouldn't be buying anything. But I think we'll just get this back to the car wash and deal with it there. Being everything's working, I think I can cause more issue than anything messing with stuff like that on the road right now. Steering's a little bit stiffer, but we can deal with that. I've said this before, but the best stuff always comes from a long trip down a gravel road. We're just about there, so we can take a peek at another potential project. Definitely a project. And as you can see, we are back at the car wash. What a whirlwind 3-4 days. I don't even know how many days it's been, but it is actually the next morning. We got in town last night after looking at another potential project. I don't want to show what it is yet because the gentleman doesn't actually have it publicly for sale, but it is something that could be of significance. I just got to do a little research on it, make sure it is what it is. It is definitely a project, but it would definitely be cool to see it back on the road. So you'll probably hear more about that in the future because I'm a sucker for stuff, obviously. Don't even technically own a shop anymore, yet I feel like I need more things. I obviously have some sort of mental deficiency, but we need to sort out what is going on with the 405. We can't clear out the CAN bus code. I'm guessing it's gonna be a ground related issue. We haven't done that on this one. And these have some ground studs in the wheel well behind the liner that can get corroded, break off, cause issues. I didn't even mess with it on this one because this came out of Arizona, so I just kind of figured we wouldn't have the corrosion issue much like we do around here in Iowa. But you can also see a bunch of dirt and everything in there because I'm a child and had to splash through the puddles while we were traveling through that road to nowhere in Kansas. We'll rip the wheel off, check that out. This morning we boxed up a bunch of stuff, loaded up everything into the back of the 405, and we just have this one last one that we had to box up in a creative fashion. That is not a children's bicycle. That's an LR4 sunroof. So the sunroof out of the white one just sold, so we got to get that out along with a few other things. When you leave town for a few days, you usually get backed up with that stuff, which is good. Ideally, we want to sell stuff because that is what funds the Rovers and being able to go drive around the country with a bunch of buddies. Just about ready to pull this off, and judging by the color of some of that, it's definitely not cow shit. I mean, we were running over cow pies all day yesterday. Definitely wasn't just grabbing cow turds. Not a chance. Now, unfortunately, that looks better than I was hoping. Also looks better than that guy. Sometimes those will just break off as you touch them, but we'll pop it off, clean everything up, see if that makes a difference. So a lot of this is going right to the ABS pump module there. So typically this would be the one that we mess with. So I got that all cleaned up and put back on, but if a guy would just open his eyes and look around, I think we might have found the problem. So that wire appears to have been rubbing up against the front axle boot. This is supposed to be connected to there by what looks to be a push pin, I'm assuming, but it's not. And it rubbed through the wire, and that goes to the wheel speed sensor. So I'm guessing that is going to be the root of most of our problems. We'll kind of patch this through. I need to order a new one. I don't keep one of those for obvious reasons, and I'm assuming no one else in Dubuque, Iowa keeps one of those for obvious reasons. We got the cow pie wheel liner back in there, and the more I touch it, the more I'm convinced it's poop. It's definitely poop. It smells like it. But we also just temporarily fixed the ABS sensor, and nice little zip tie to keep that out of place. We'll order a new sensor, get the correct fastener, also get another push pin for this because that was missing. But you know what they say, there is nothing more permanent than a temporary fix. So maybe we won't. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get a sensor and get this all buttoned up correctly. Hopefully that will fix the problem. We'll find out in just 1 second. So we just fired it up, and the only thing up there is the tire pressure monitor, which is the left front sensor in the black wheels has taken a crap. That happened a week or two ago, so, well, intermittently it comes on and off. So we need to address that, but everything else, gone. We're gonna scan everything real quick and see what we got. So this is that new top down that they just sent out to me. I'm actually really liking this thing so far for like a general scan tool. It's been comparable to the Autel that we've used for years. We got a bunch of faults like we suspected. We are now intermittent on that high-speed CAN fault that we had earlier, which is good. It means we should just be able to clear everything out, and that should be what our issue was. I mean, who would have thought the wire rub through on an ABS sensor would cause an issue? On something this complicated like full-size Range Rover this year, it is pretty nice when the problem is as simple as that. It's not even the Land Rover's fault. Roverball once again was a blast, even though it was abbreviated for me. So make sure you guys go over to Lucky 8's YouTube channel and subscribe so you can catch his recap. I'm sure it'll come up in a week or two. He'll have the full get down. I'm missing the best part, so you're gonna wanna watch those guys. They're gonna be in Big Bend. Actually, at this moment, if you're watching this the day it comes out, they're in Big Bend. So I'll put a link down to their channel below. You'll get to see all the good stuff I unfortunately got to miss. You would not believe how much happier it is when it can see the wheel speed on all the wheels. Just took it for a test drive and everything is working good. So we'll get a sensor ordered, and that will end today's video. So with that being said,
I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you guys subscribing. I'll see you on the next one.
he was pretty close. But no, we'll catch you on the next one, and it'll probably be messing with the LR4 truck, I think. So see you guys Sunday.